on the chat or something that you can hear? Okay. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. All right. My boss is here. Ladies and gentlemen, please put the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend. All right. So we can allow some more people to join the call. Okay, I see we have about 16 people on the call. I think maybe we can wait for another 2 minutes. So at 7:05 here, we'll just start. All right. Good evening, everyone. You're welcome to this pop-up meetup. Um, I'm sure it came as a surprise to a lot of people that we're doing a meetup today. Um, yeah, sometimes we like to just shock people a bit. So it's good to be here. Um, all right, sorry, I'm still watching the chats to see if there are any comments or anything. But I think let me just introduce us a bit. But also, Ileri Ayo Adebi is here. He's the leading organizer for the CNCF Lagos. I am Daniel Osakutame. I'm one of the organizers for the CNCF Lagos. And today is a special kind of meetup. It's not just that we're just meeting to share ideas like we usually do, or to um, to go very deep into some technical things like we usually do, or just have a good time like we usually do. But today we're mixing all of that with is specifically tailored for the boot camp, the KCNA boot camp that is starting tomorrow, to be able to answer questions, to be able to introduce you to what's been worked on, and why we're doing it, and and all of that. Um, I would want to, at this point, I would want to ask Hilary if he has, just before we open up for questions, I would like to ask Hilary if he has anything to share first. I also have a few things I would like to share first before we go into the meat of the day. Larry, you can unmute.
Well, I'm glad to be here. I don't have any script. There's a terrible background noise on my end. I hope you cannot hear any of it. Please let me know. Can you hear me clearly? Can anyone in chat hear me as well? Mic test, testing mic. Can you hear me? Can anyone hear me? Okay, I see. Yep. All right. Great. So so I'm glad to be here. Like I said, um, thanks to the organizing team that have put up this meeting or this meetup for all of us to learn what we have in store um, for the beginning of this year, and of course the KCNA bootcamp that's going to start tomorrow. Um, we have quite a number of things that we're planning for the community, and we hope that they'll you'd all find it beneficial, as members of the community. So please, of course, keep um, your eyes open. There'll be several opportunities. There'll be initiatives as well that will start, and members of the community are encouraged to volunteer as well. Um, so yeah, I'll just pause on that for now and let Daniel um, take the stage. Thank you once again for joining. Oh, okay. I don't see Daniel. I'm not sure if. Um, Let me check 1 second to see if he's still on the call. Oh, okay. Daniel is not on the call, so I'm just going to drive this. This is what you call debugging in production. But first of all, let me see, please, just to get a feel of folks in the audience. Um, Please, you can just let us know if you've taken the KCNA certification before. If anyone has, please just put it in the chat. If you haven't, if you have, just put like a yes. If you haven't, just put like a no, so that we can know if this is something that is required from the community. Okay. Okay, I see one person has taken the certification. Okay. Mm. Samuel says no. Myra says no. Kalio says no. No. Okay. Mide says no. Joel no. Bolaji no. Seems we have a lot of people. Dennis says he failed the CKAD. Sorry to hear that, Dennis. But if you haven't taken the KCNA, of course, it's a yes. I do hope you pass it on the next try. So I see that there is a lot of people on the call today that have not taken the KCNA, and I think we're on track. Daniel is going to be sharing more information about that very shortly, and we hope if you have any questions, you can use the Q&A um, button just on the screen there and ask your questions, or you can put it in the chat as well. Either of them will work for us. Unfortunately, no one can unmute themselves to speak on this particular meetup. But if you have questions at any time, please put it in the chat. Thank you. So, Daniel, you want to just. Yeah, Daniel is back here, of course. Thank you.
Yeah. Um, well, the so I would want to before, like I said, we will be taking a lot of questions. It's going to be we'll try to make it interactive. Sorry, this platform, like Larry just said, you find that you can just unmute just like that. So sorry about that. Just fixed. Yes, indeed. So, but there is a Q and button there. You can also use the chat. So please use tools, right, to let your to let your voice be heard. Okay, no one can shut your voice. All right. Let me share my screen and we can just quickly start. So, um, okay, okay. Um, all right. So, can you see my screen? That phrase, "Can you see my screen?" is perhaps going to be the most since COVID will probably be the most popular phrase used. Okay. Wow. So I can't see. Before we go into the depths of it, let's try to the popular framework that Simon Sinek gave to us. Let's understand why we are doing what we are doing, and then we can that can give us some sort of um, motivation or some sort of reason as to why we're doing this. And so I'll start with why, like Simon Sinek advises us to always do. Um, so if you look at it, the doing this whole thing, why are we doing the DevOps? Why are we doing the KCNA? Why are we doing all of these things? Well, primarily because we're trying to build resilient, reliable, scalable, secure computing systems. Um, in fact, that computing might even be limiting, but we're trying to build resilient systems. We're trying to build systems that are reliable, that are scalable, that are secure. And one of the things is that CNCF has provided and continues to provide methodologies, frameworks, uh, amongst other things that for doing this. So you can't just stand up in the morning and just say, "Oh, you want to build a resilient system." There are actually people who are professionals who have sat down to think that, okay, these are the kinds of things you put together to be able to build systems in different ways, right? That will be scalable, that will be secure as well. And so CNCF provides those kinds of frameworks and ways of thinking, like that. Now, under the CSCF, you now have projects, and these projects they provide tools. So that's where you have, you have different tools. I mean, you want to go to the CNCF landscape page so that you can see the plethora of tools. Let me use big English. The plethora of tools that are available in CNCF, right? And then organizations get these tools, and then you now have engineers who implement these tools. Now, this is where all of us, most of us are, right? Engineers who implement the tools. So, but however, the goal is to build, scalable, reliable systems that are secure. So so it's good for you to see where you are in the entire chain and how you fit into the grand picture. Now, Lagos CNCF community goals. One of the goals that we're trying to do is that we want to help to build and promote the kind of people who can build, align, and implement these systems, right? Um, so it's not just about, so you're not Kubernetes when you're using Helm, these tools. It's good to have a big picture as to what you are doing. There's this saying that you meet two people, two bricklayers. You ask one, "What are you doing?" He says that I'm laying blocks. The other one tells you, "I'm building the most beautiful cathedral." So you need kind of person that you are. That, yeah, you're not just using these tools. You are part of a system that is trying to that's trying to build very resilient systems, all right, very resilient businesses, very resilient organizations. And God knows that in Africa, especially, we need resilient systems. We need systems that are scalable. So one of the things we want to do is to help to build people. All right. When you build people, people will build the things. All right. So we want to help to build people that will champion, align these systems. All right. So how about it? Motivation through community, accountability through community, mentorship through community. So everything that we're doing through this community mindset. Okay, so as an engineer, as a person who wants to be able to grow into this state, you're able to, as a part of this community, we're able to help you stay motivated, remain accountable, and also, mentorship where possible to the meat of where we are. Right now, what is it that we're trying to do in this 2025? One of the things we want to do, I'm trying to give us the big picture so that when we are doing this KCNA bootcamp, we know where it fits in, right, in the entire scheme of things. In 2025, we want to see, it's been our heart desire, right, to see more people rise up in this cloud computing space. All right, we want to see more community organizers. We want to see more communities. We want to see more people. So now let's walk it back and begin to have concrete achievable goals. So we want to see 5 to 10 cubestronauts. We want to see 3 to 5 people who become CNCF ambassadors in 2020. Is that possible? Sorry, I can't see the chat of that, but let me just see if people are saying it's possible. If you think it's possible, say yeah. I want to see the chats. Yeah. All right. Awesome. 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 All right. Awesome. All right. That's good. All right. So let's continue. Since we're aligned. All right. If we were together, I would have said, jam your hands with your neighbor and say, yes, it's possible. But we're not. So we can just really do that virtually. So now the KCNA bootcamp, the starting point. So I'll have this mindset that this KCNA bootcamp that you are in, or rather that you are about to start, is the starting point of a journey. All right. This is not the all in all. This is just the beginning, but it's a very important beginning. So now we had to, like I said, if you remember earlier, I was talking about community. There is a CNCF Lagos Slack community, which I want to assume that or most of us on the call are there. If not, no problem. You'll be able to join shortly. Or, however, we had to create, so that CNCF Slack channel was just one channel under the general CNCF worldwide Slack workspace. But however, we saw the need that we needed to create a new CNCF workspace so that we could have some automation, especially with the bootcamp. We'll be having several bootcamps. We'll be having different channels. So we felt, yeah, it makes sense to create a new Slack workspace. All right. So you will be able to join that Slack workspace. You will be sent an email after this call with all these details in terms of, okay, the Slack link, and all of that. Then now the schedule. So let me, sorry, just a minute. All right. So the schedule, All right. So it's the KCNA course. The way we've done it, the camp is going to be 8 weeks. All right, and it starts tomorrow, February 1st, and the curriculum. Okay, well, I'll get into that, but let me just quickly stick with the schedule. Now, the schedule week one, which starts tomorrow, right? We're going to have a live session where we'll look at the introduction of the course of the KCNA, the exams, and then we'll go into like cloud native fundamentals, right? What are the cloud native practices? What are the concepts in cloud native? And that will be taken by none other but Larry Ayo. Sorry, I think Larry Ayo Adebi, who is here on the call. And so that's tomorrow, Saturday, and that's what will be. So he will take the course live, and then also that's what we'll be discussing throughout the week. Yeah. So course overview and learning part, KCNA exam structure and preparation strategy, introduction to CNCF, Linux Foundation, cloud native architecture fundamentals, cloud native practices, deep dive, auto scaling concept and implementation, serverless architecture, community governance, cloud native personas, open standards. So essentially, this is just like laying the foundation so that you have that understanding of what cloud native really is. Because the KCNA exam is not just Kubernetes; it's is Kubernetes and cloud native associate. So it's why I like it is because it gives you that broad overview, that broad understanding of the cloud native space. So part of the things you'll be doing during the week will be setting up your environment, and all of that. And also there will be weekly live quizzes. I'll talk about why later on. I'll talk about why this is important. The weekly quizzes. Then for week two, we'll go into just to ensure that we have some important background because Docker Docker is kind of the grandfather of or Docker and containerization is kind of the grandfather of a lot of these things. So it's very important that we have understanding of Docker as it is first, and that will be taken by Roland Joseph. I don't know if is Roland on the call. Well, Roland, just say hello if you're on the call. Just say hello on the chat. Roland will be taking that. Roland is he's what's the word I'm looking for? He's a very experienced engineer and facilitator actually. Very experienced and he's good. So he's going to be taking us on Docker. So Docker. How to set up your Docker container images, running containers, container networking and volumes. The whole shebang. So and then week three we move on to Kubernetes foundations and core concepts, which will be taken by Daniel Sakutame. I heard he's a very great guy, but I'll be happy to meet him in week three. Okay, for those who don't know, I'm Daniel Sakutame. So yeah, that was just and that'll be February 15th, right? So we'll talk container orchestration principles, Kubernetes architecture, Kubernetes cluster setup, working with pods, namespaces, deployments, services and networking, and then there will also be hands-on labs as well. I'm going to talk about that, the hands-on labs and how we're able to do that for you. Then we'll go advanced again to same Kubernetes. I'm sure you know by now that Kubernetes is a bit broad, right? So we'll take Kubernetes again for another week. Advanced Kubernetes features that will be taken by Roland again. So jobs, cron jobs, config maps, secrets, layers and selectors, the Kubernetes API, role-based access controls and security, storage and stateful sets, networking policies, job. I mean, it's wow. So we're going a bit more advanced with Kubernetes in week 4. And then week 5, cloud native tools and practices. That will be by Michael Sani. I don't know if Michael is on the call. So we'll talk about some other cloud native tools and then also talk about GitOps and the cloud native way of application delivery. So and then some CI/CD stuff as well, service mesh, and then talk about all of that in week 5, and that will be taken by Michael Sani. By Eromosele. Eromosele he works with Sematex, and he works with open telemetry with their open telemetry. He works with a lot of open telemetry stuff, anyways. In Sematex, and so he will take us on observability. So we'll learn about cloud native observability. So of course, under that you have open telemetry and other things, and then we'll also look at Grafana and then Prometheus and cost management and then that. Now, week 7, we'll do some exam prep. So we'll go deeper into like some practice questions and just do that. Now, I said I was going to come back to something. I said the weekly quizzes and then also the labs, right? If you recall. Okay, but let me just, before I go there, let me just wrap this up. So week 8, which is the final week, there'll be a physical meetup, right? And a wrap up. Interesting, as I just saw it now, I just felt like we should call it physical meetup and wrap up party. Larry, what do you think? March 22nd. So hopefully we would have people who would take the exam this week. All right, between March 15th and March 22nd. Hopefully we'll have some of you who will decide that, yeah, you want to take the exam this week. All right, and we'll be able to celebrate together when we meet physically in Lagos. Okay, that's my hope. That's my desire. No pressure whatsoever. So yeah, wrap up party sounds good. I trust you, man. Okay, let's go back here now. So we talked about the labs. Okay, before I go into the labs, I don't know how many of you know James Spurin. Does anybody know James Spurin? Dive into. So this entire curriculum, right, is actually patterned around this James Spurin course. Dive into Kubernetes and Cloud Native Associate, and we reached out to him, and he's just an amazing person, seriously. And so a few things now. If you look at this his course, you see that it aligns what I just read out, very much. So the labs, because this his course also has labs, right? This has interactive browser-based labs, okay? And that's what we'll be using. Now, we spoke with him. We interacted with him, and he has given us permission to go ahead to use the labs which are in this course for this our own platform as well. So please, he's not on the call, but please put your hands together for James Spurin. He's a great, wonderful person. Now, not only did he give us permission to use not only did he give us permission to use his course or his he did labs in the course. If you see here, it says, okay, before James Spurin actually gave the community 30, or he gave scholarship to 30 people to this course. Please, can I see another round of applause for James Spurin again? Yeah, he's awesome like that. He's a really great guy. Yeah. So please, I want you to go and show love, so much love to him on LinkedIn. Go to LinkedIn and look for him, and just show love to his page. All right, because he said he's giving 30 people access to his course for free. Okay, and we have more than 30 people. And why is that so? Because we wanted to limit this course to just 30 people, but I mean, almost 200 people applied. So how do we choose 200 of you? So we said, okay, let's open it up. But however, we'll have a system which I will get into shortly, to be able to for people to rank. So we're gamifying it in a way that it's open, it's transparent. So the better you do in the course, the more interactive you are in the community, the more you apply yourself, the more opportunities you will get. So for something like this, for this course, for instance, it will go to the top 30 people. Like I said, he gave 30 vouchers, so it will go to the top 30 people. But however, please don't feel bad if you don't make it to the top 30. I mean, several things happen. Maybe you are busy and things. He actually has
Daniel,
um,
apologies. We lost you for about
off.
20
I don't know what
seconds
I
there.
say.
I think Daniel's having some network problems. But can anybody hear me in the chat? All right. Before Daniel gets back, so James Spearing's LinkedIn has been put in the chat. Please, you can just, you know, say thank you to him. Of course, not everybody is going to have access to that because of the limitations. We have just um, 30 scholarships from James. So, but you can still say thank you to him. Who knows? Maybe he'll just give you another one on LinkedIn directly. But yeah, so while we wait for Daniel, does anyone have any question? If you have any question, you can put it in the chat. Is anyone like that? And I just wanted to ask if this is your first time attending a CNCF Lagos meetup, can you just, mention it in the chat? I'd like to, recognize you. This is your first time attending any of our meetups. That's the first set of people that I'm calling. The second set of people, if you are not based, okay, I can see Celestina. Welcome to the meetup, CNCF Lagos. You're very welcome. I see Mohammed, your first time, welcome. I see Samuel, welcome. I see I see Precious. I see Chimaobi. Ah, wow, we have a lot of first. You're very, very welcome to CNCF Lagos. Okay, Daniel is back. Reminder, if you have any questions, just put it in the chat and we'll do well to address all of the questions. So, Daniel, please.
Okay, thank you. So sorry for um, that production issue. Um, Now, sorry, I just wanted to be sure that Larry, please, do you know? Did I keep talking at some point? I don't know if you heard me finish when I talked about the James Spearing's course
Yeah, you were
and
still,
the
yeah, we heard that.
okay.
I think you were talking about the labs.
All right. So, well, the thing is, so like I said, he gave us the discount. I'm sorry, the free vouchers for 30 people, and then even on website there's a discount for that you can also make use of in just in case you don't make it into the top 30. All right. So there's something for everyone. Awesome. Now what's the next on that agenda? Okay, so the labs, they are actually from that course that's the James Experience course. Now we've introduced how do we get the top 30 who will be able to get these vouchers for James Experience course. Well, we introduced a points system, right? And it's going to be predicated on a few things. One, we've set up in the Slack community, we've set up a bot that will prompt you every morning or every day to give some sort of feedback or some sort of date as to where you are. As to what you did that day, how you're learning, and all of that, how you're progressing. So you just have to give standards. You just have to give your daily updates. All right, that gives you a point. Then also the participating in the weekly quizzes, right, also gives you points as well. So that's how we've introduced the points system, and then the top 30 will be given these benefits. Now that's not the only benefit that's there. Um, Another benefit is, which you saw in the email that we sent, was that one of the things we said is that this is a free boot, but it doesn't cover for your KCNA exam. You still have to pay CNCF for your KCNA exam, right? So we just try to, when you were registering, there was a button there that allowed you to tick that yes, you understand that one. It's not that at the end of the course now you'll not be saying, Hilary, please, where's my where's my exam details? No. So it's not part of it. You have to pay for the exams, not to us, but of course to CNCF. But however, what we're trying to do, is to get vouchers for the community. So also for the top 30 as well, to be able to get vouchers for the exam at the end of the boot camp. So please put your hands together for that as we work on that. Just to be sure you're hearing and you're tracking with us. Yeah, so we're working towards that. Um, Now I've also talked about the facilitators. So they include, those were the people I called out earlier on. Okay. So that's it about the KCNA bootcamp. Are there questions? Questions?
Yes, I see quite a number of questions. I can read them out to you. The
All
first
right,
one
sir.
says, well, in no particular order, I see a question that says, how do we register for this program and what are the requirements? Do you want to take that?
Okay, so we put out an announcement some time back about this program, and we did give a link for registering. Today is 31st. The registration closed yesterday. So, so, so indeed, if that question is being asked right now, means that that has been missed. However, I'm just thinking perhaps if Ilary would allow, maybe we can still share the link, and we can allow for registration for anyone who wants to register, uh, maybe between now and maybe 10 p.m. or so, and then we close it back again. So we
Okay,
can.
well, think I think we can open it up um, maybe after this call and just leave it till midnight.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yep. I'll take the next
Okay.
question. Somebody says, Shogo Mark says, I have an FE foundation in software development and I have great interest in DevOps. Will I be able to catch up with this program? I'm not sure what FE means. Maybe front end.
I think he's talking front
Let's
end.
just assume front end. Yes. So do you want to answer that? Will he be able to catch up in this program or with this program?
Um, well, because of the where we are starting from, I think if there's enough interest, and it's not like you are, since you already have some sort of background. Well, I think it's okay. I think because if we look at the curriculum, we're even that's why we're also starting from Docker, right? So we're not skipping Docker. So that is the major foundation that you would need, and some sort of interest on your part and passion on your part to want to catch up in any areas that you feel like you're missing in.
All right. There's another question from Shugomark. No, that was from Shugomark, pardon. From Sophia. She says, what's the cumulative point to qualify?
So now there are two things. By week two, after week one and week two, we'll be able to it's a live leaderboard, right? It's a leaderboard. So the top 30, you will always just see it. We will always share it in the community who are the top 30, and it will be transparent, right? So you will just always see where you are in the top 30. Those are the people that will just get these things. You will just see the leaderboard there. So what we'll do is after the first 2 weeks, we will perhaps that's when we'll probably distribute the vouchers for the James Spearing course. The reason is we want to do that so that you can, as you're doing this course, you can also be going back to that course to go deeper. Because I tell you, I've actually taken that course, and it goes very deep, and that was why when we're working on this, we aligned it with that. It goes very, very deep. James Spearing is a very good educator. So yeah. Then when it comes to the vouchers for the exams, that will be at the end. All right. So the top 30 at that point, at the end of the course, will also take the exam voucher.
All right. Thank you. There is another question from Blessing, and she's asking, how do I join the Slack channel? I know you mentioned that, but do you want to just touch on that again?
Yes. So before the end of this call, and also after the call, we'll send an email, and it will contain the link for the Slack channel to join. Yeah.
All right. Sheung says, is the program beginner friendly?
Yeah. I
Depends on
mean,
what beginner means. I mean,
yeah. So it depends. When you say there are different levels of beginner, right? So if you're a beginner in terms of, okay, maybe you understand how tech works, you are a bit technical, maybe you are still new to Docker, right? Yes, it's very friendly. But if you are beginner, as in you don't even know how to, turn on a computer perhaps, or you don't know how to, because there are beginners like that, then it might not be for you to start somewhere else. But we're starting from Docker, so it's beginner in that sense.
yeah, I think I can also mention some things regarding that. So if you're, this is the KCNA is like the smallest certification in the Kubernetes ecosystem. So it's the beginner, sort of entry level certification. And I think if you're somebody who has technical background, technology, maybe you've been learning, even if it's front end development or stuff like that, you can put in the effort and learn these things, and in no time, I believe you would be able to catch up. All right. So the next question is from Abdullah Kim, and he says Golang is usually attributed to the cloud ecosystem, same as Python for scripting. Is learning any of these languages included in the program?
No,
All right. I
no,
don't
there's
see
no,
any.
there's no, there's no programming in this course. There's no need for it actually.
All right. I don't see any other
Okay, sorry.
questions.
Let me just quickly say something about that beginner part again. Um, so before you dive into deep into Docker and all of these kinds of technology, especially for the person who is front end, who has a front end foundation, what I would suggest is try to have a basic grasp of Linux, right? And the command line, because most of 80 to 90% of your time, right, will be um, will be spent using the command line. So you will try to be very sorry. Can you hear me? Somebody saying, is anyone speaking? I can't hear. Sorry, can
Yeah,
anybody
I
hear
can hear
me?
you. Yep.
Okay. So you want to ensure that, okay, you understand command line commands. At least you can navigate from somewhere to the other place. You can move things around. You can manipulate your system, through line. That would greatly help you in this course. You know, but however, the course would not be teaching you, right, but we'll be using a lot of command line stuff. So you want to be familiar with that.
All right. There is one question from Samuel. Okay, Sonia, and they're saying, is it the same 30 people that win, who win the course that will also get the voucher at the end?
It depends. It's a life leaderboard, right? So at the end of the course, the top the top 30 at that point will be the ones that will get it. All right. So if the top 30 from the beginning, right, from week 2 or week 3, continue to be the top till the very end, then they will get it. But if you miss out on the first one and then you ginger yourself, to become part of them, sure, it's a life leaderboard. Yeah.
All right. Precious says, would we be working on any projects using these technologies, or is this solely for preparation of the exam?
Yeah, the goal is for preparation of the KCNA exam.
All right. Short and simple. Samuel is asking, how do we receive the recording of the meeting? Okay, I can answer that. Everyone who has checked in for this meetup will eventually have access. So we'll get back to you on that. Um, so I don't see any question here. Is there any other thing, Daniel, that you'd like to share?
No, I think that's it from me.
Okay, okay. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So can you hear me,
Yes,
Daniel?
yes, I can hear you.
Okay, all right. So thank you very much for sharing that, um, for enlightening us about the boot camp. Thank you. I'll just take over the next session, and I'll talk for a few minutes about some of the things that we intend to do in the community. First of all, welcome to everyone who is a first timer in CNCF Lagos. CNCF Lagos is one of the chapters in the Cloud Native Computing Foundation, responsible for providing educative um, meetups all around the world. So we have other meetups in Nigeria and outside of Nigeria as well. We have in Abuja, they had a meetup, earlier today. We have in Mina as well. But CNCF Lagos is our own meetup, and we're glad to have you here with us. Just a brief introduction to the CNCF. The CNCF is the Cloud Native Computing Foundation, for those who are not aware, and the CNCF's mission is to make cloud native computing ubiquitous. So that means they are standing to ensure that cloud native is widespread, in almost every facet of computing and technology. So that's what the CNCF stands for. There are several. Daniel did mention a landscape. There's something called the CNCF landscape, and that is a categorization of the different technologies that are under the Cloud Native Computing Foundation. The very first technology that was donated to this foundation is the Kubernetes. So Kubernetes, when it was developed, initially by the Google team, it was named Borg. It was the software that they were using in Google. but they decided to open source it, and um, the CNCF was formed so that they could donate that software to the foundation, and that's open source. So a lot of, and the CNCF is also a member of the Linux Foundation. So yeah, it's a child of the Linux Foundation, majorly specifying on cloud native computing technologies. So we in CNCF Lagos were a part of the CNCF for the same course. So welcome once again. If you're on this call, it means you're already a member of the CNCF Lagos community. There is nothing else to do. If you got the email, no, pardon me, if you're on this call, yes, if you're on this call, you're already a member, because for you to have RSVP, you must have become a member first. So if you have any concerns regarding your membership, that I hope should be cleared by now. um then we've had several meetups in CNCF Lagos, starting from 2024. I'm not sure if, I think 2023, and this is our very first meetup this year, a virtual meetup. We have several, we've hosted several physical meetups as well, and which we also intend to do. Daniel did show that we're going to have a physical meetup sometime in March, in this first quarter. So those are the things that you'll be seeing from us. We'll be having meetups, hopefully as more regular than last year. And this is the first time we're having a boot camp of this nature. I see the questions in chat. I'm going to answer them, but I just want to give some background. So we're this is the first time we're having a boot camp of this nature, and we want to build the community. I, for one, as a person, I want to, okay, I did mention I'm also an ambassador of the CNCF community, CNCF Foundation. I'm one of the African ambassadors, and part of my own goal in the industry is to help build the cloud native computing foundation communities in Africa. And so CNCF Lagos is one of such platforms that we're using for that. And so thankful to volunteers who worked with Daniel. Daniel is also an organizer, in this community, in this Lagos community, and we've been able to put together this boot camp, the very first, and we are also planning some other things, later in the year, and we trust that we'll be able to accomplish these things. Um, as Daniel mentioned, we got some sponsorship from James Purin, and that's another thing that we are looking to have in the community this year: partnerships and sponsorships. We did have some folk reach out to us last year, but we weren't able to seal as many partnerships and sponsorships like we would have wanted. For instance, last year we had um, 3 people were sponsored to take the CKAD certification. We also had that's that was given to us by a member of the community who is also a facilitator in this KCNA program. We also had what's it called, AWS vouchers given to us by another speaker in one of our meetups. Unfortunately, we didn't get to use that. I apologize to the community, for that, and we never followed up with that actually. um we've had people also reach out to us to offer some things, but we weren't able to seal any of those partnerships eventually. But this is the first meetup we're having, and I'm glad to announce that James Spearing, like Daniel did mention, is sponsoring 30 scholarships. um Also, we are trying to get more participation from other folks outside of Lagos, who can sponsor. We've reached out to the CNCF directly for certifications, and we're hoping that we'll be able to. A lot of people have asked about certifications, that where can we get vouchers, where can we get huge discounts and things like that. And that's part of the things that we're trying to see if we can get support from other groups of people. And of course, if you want to support, you can also support. We had, last year we had individual sponsors as well, who sponsored our meetups. So if you want to sponsor any of these things, please reach out to us. Another partnership, besides James Spearing, besides dive into, is cloudnativeafrica.io. um, CNCF Lagos is partnering with cloudnativeafrica.io, and this boot camp as well. Cloudnativeafrica.io is also partnering with us for that. So that's another thing that we're getting, and that platform will be used to publicize what we're doing, and to hopefully request for sponsorships from the community as well. um we intend this year as well to have more volunteers. We've had people reach out to us to ask about how they can support the community, how they can work with the community, and people have different ideas. And one of the things that we're doing, of course, we got volunteers last year for some of our meetups. um, but one thing we did that we want to do differently is that the volunteers we got were usually one-off volunteering opportunities, where you just volunteered to help us, during the meetups. And now that's because of the model we're operating. We're just having meetups, but this time around we're having longer engagements than just single meetups. For instance, the KCNA is an 8-week long engagement, and so we want to have volunteers who would, work with us longer than one meetup. For instance, we can have people volunteer and they would work with the CNCF Lagos community for 3 months, for 6 months, or possibly longer than that, depending on their availability. And we're putting in a structure for that volunteering experience. So if you want to volunteer to support, please keep an eye out, and we'll definitely communicate. Everyone who is a member of this community would receive communications regarding all of these things that we're talking about. um, so that one is big, that one is huge, because we want to be able to accomplish much more things. I was having a conversation with Daniel, part of the organizing committee. We're having a conversation regarding sponsoring many more people, in the cloud native community, helping them get certifications, helping people get set in this cloud native industry. So those are things that we would love to do much more. And so if you have um any 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 bandwidth to support people, please do reach out to us via any of the platforms on Slack. You can reach out directly to myself or to Daniel as well. So I'm going to pause on that and just try to answer some of the questions in the chat. So Samuel is asking, when do we receive the link to the Slack? Okay, I see that Daniel is also responding to the questions in the chat. Thank you, Daniel. So yeah, you definitely get an email, from the CNCF Lagos community regarding, all of these things that we're talking about, especially the Slack community for the KCNA bootcamp purpose. Um, are we using the same platform for the training? That's a good question. It's something. Is it that okay? Let me just ask. How is the platform? Does anybody want to let us know? What do you think about this platform? We want to have um, the trainings virtually, and this is an option for us. But of course, if we have feedback and people do not like this platform, please let us know, and we will definitely take that into consideration. See which other question is here. Oh, okay. Somebody saying the platform is good, but network problems can be a struggle. So, well, I'm not sure how, if you have a better alternative, But if you do, please reach out to us. We would like to, get the best for everyone who will be participating. And by the way, this will be recorded. These things will be recorded and it will be made public to us. Everyone who is a participant would have access to the recordings. So if you're not available, or if you're not online when we're having those sessions, you can go back to them. Or if you just want to check them afterwards, you can definitely. Somebody is suggesting we try Google Meet. I'm not sure if it's different from this one, but of course we can experiment on that as well. So this platform has several things like breakout rooms, um, like question and answer, Q&A, things like that. We don't have access to a paid Google Meet platform. This one is the official one from the CNCF that we're using. But we can definitely try out other things if this doesn't work for us. Sorry to hear that you're getting logged off. Apologies for that. So yeah, that is some of the things that we're working on. Please reach out to us if you have anything um, that you can support with. Just also to mention, please do reach out to James Spearing on social media, and please show your, just let's just be appreciative of what is offered us. And who knows, we may get more maybe from one of your posts. We can have more people, decide to support the community. Would appreciate that if you can do those things for us. That would be really, really appreciated. Also, please, cloudnativeafrica.io is also a partner with us in CNCF Lagos. Please subscribe to cloudnativeafrica.io, where you can get information about what's happening in cloud native in Africa, news, opportunities, events, meetups, conferences, open source projects being worked on by cloud native people in Africa, anything that's going on. And if you have any information on cloud native in Africa, you can also send an email to the team over there, and we would like to amplify the work that is happening. It could be you as well. Maybe you're building a cloud native tool, um, and you feel you need somewhere to amplify what you're doing. You can have the team over there help with that. So please subscribe. You can just head over to cloud native, I'll put it in the chat, cloudnativeafrica.io, and subscribe. So that, I think, is the bulk of what we're supposed to talk about today. Does anybody have any question? I'm looking at the chat and I'm seeing that there's somebody having issues with joining Slack.
Maybe you want to try again because seeing several notifications, people are joining in. So you might want to just try again or something because that should not be.
Right.
Yeah.
Nobody's asking about the time, the timing for the meetups. I mean, not the meetups, pardon me, for the boot camp. I think everybody seems to be fine with the duration for that. Yeah, 7 to 9 weekly, Saturdays. Yep. Daniel, do you mind talking about that a bit more? About the timing and about the how frequently we have these sessions.
Okay. Um, Thank you very much for what you shared. Yeah. So so we meet every Saturday for the next 7 weeks online. and then the 8th week will be physical. Saturday, is it for the classes or meetings or both? Yeah, it's a live online session. The structure is that there will be a facilitator for the week who will share slides, share knowledge, and then there will also be opportunities for interaction and questions. Right. One of the things I was that we are hoping to start maybe from week 2 or week 3 is to have in week office hours, right? But we're also trying to ensure that it's something that is sustainable and that we can all manage because we all work, we all work, during the week and all of that. So we're looking at that will be something that maybe will be taken up by volunteers. So if you are on the call, maybe you are a bit more advanced, you can volunteer to be championing or facilitating the in-week office hours so that people who have challenges, right, will be able to get on. It's to just be 1 hour, statutory 1 hour. Anybody that joins the call and has a problem will just receive some help as it concerns the boot camp. Somebody's asking if it's 7 a.m. No, it's not 7 a.m. Please, it's 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Um, on Saturdays. Yes. Sorry, did I miss anything else? I'm trying to think.
There is a question that Saturdays are they for the classes or for the meetups or for both?
Yeah. So the Saturdays are for the classes. But then there will be a meetup on week 8. All right. Now that meetup on week 8 will be the time will be communicated. It will not be 7. We won't be meeting physically at 7 p.m. Please. We'll meet at a different time on that week 8, but it will be announced, at the time. But usually we have our meetups by 11 a.m. when we meet physically, but then it will be announced when we get to that bridge. But for the online meetups, for the online classes, they are 7 p.m. every Saturday for the next 7 weeks. Okay, let me see. Is there any other? I think we should be planning to wrap up soon, but just to ensure all questions and everybody goes.
Mhm. Just to add this, please, you can do well to follow us on social media. We have a Twitter page, CNCF Lagos, on social media. Also, you can follow myself and Daniel on LinkedIn, on Twitter as well, because you can find some more information. Sometimes we put information on social media regarding things that we're doing personally, and if you want to see some of those things, you can follow us on LinkedIn. I post things I'm learning on LinkedIn. Daniel as well does that. So please do well to follow us as well. I'll just share our LinkedIn here.
Okay. Um, any other questions? Anything? Anybody? Going. All right. Thank you.
I think we're good.
All right. Thank you very much. Please, I want to plead with you. Go on. I've shared the link earlier. James Purin's LinkedIn page and just show some love, man. Show some Nigerian love to James Purin for what he did uh, for us. So that he is being appreciated. That what he did is appreciated. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. Larry, do you have any last words?
Okay, for those who are still having errors, please, you can reach out to us. Just tag myself or Daniel on social media, or you can DM us, or you can send reply any of our communications, and we'll support you with that. Somebody's asking for the registration link. We'll also I did share a link on cloudnativeafrica.io. You can access the registration from there, but if you cannot, we'll definitely send another email to all of us who are on this call for that purpose. So I want to appreciate everyone. Thank you very much, Daniel, especially for anchoring this, for hosting this. Thank you for the effort. Thanks to Roland as well, and everyone who has volunteered to support what we're doing in the community. Big thanks to our sponsors and our partners as well, and of course to everyone who is on this call today. I cannot mention everybody's name, but I've seen some names. I've seen Samuel, I've seen Maya, I've seen Celestina, Blessing, Shogo, Shegun, Joel, God's time. I've seen quite a number of names. Thank you very much for joining this call. Even if it's a Friday night, we appreciate you so very much, and have a very, very good weekend ahead. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Mhm.